What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? I'm Richard Taylor here, and I'm with Judah, who is the stepfather of Mr. Dae'on Sims. Many of you have probably heard of the situation with Dae'on Sims, and his death was initially ruled a suicide by police or investigators, if you want to call them that. However, Mr. Judah and Dae'on's mother has always been skeptical about, the situation that transpired, how Mr. Dae'on Sims died, and the subsequent investigation which ruled it a suicide. So we're going to start, back then around that time. What I have right here in my hand is a forensic investigative report. It says Dr. Laura Pettler finds that the death of the decedent, which is Mr. Sims Broadie, should have at the very bare minimum been ruled manner of death undetermined by law enforcement, which is the Wayne County Sheriff Department, and medical personnel. Dr. Pettler disagrees with the ruling manner of death suicide based solely on the body as evidence and Miss Williams' statement that the descendant shot himself in front of her. What supposedly happened, and then what do you think happened? Or, give us a little backstory about, the incident.
All right, yeah, for people who don't know the story, to sum it up quick, there was an incident where a young man got shot in a specific location in Goldsboro. And immediately the people who were associated with him attributed it to Dae'on. Mm-hmm. That was initially how it went down. So once that happened, threats started coming online. Cyber threats, mysterious cars driving back and forth. That we live in a dead type, area. So there's no traffic where we at.
Okay.
And this is in Fremont.
Okay, it was in Fremont. Okay,
yeah,
I said Pikeville.
Oh yeah, that was Fremont.
Fremont. Okay.
So a lot of signs start showing that there's a possibility that these people making threats might follow through. So
did y'all know any of the people who was making the threats?
No, we didn't know. We wasn't affiliated with them. We didn't know them. At this moment, before we can do anything, we first had to get to a place of safety. So we left and we went to a hotel out of town. And it got to the point to where, because we got more information on what happened, Dae'on decided to contact the sheriff.
Okay.
To clear his name.
Okay.
So we went and we saw the sheriff. We gave them all the information, and we assumed that from then on they would go to the families or whatever and let them know that this is not the guy. We're looking for the person who did this crime, but this guy's ruled off the list.
So he voluntarily went in and talked to the police after people were saying that he was involved with the other young man's death. Now, why, for clarification purposes, why would they name him in that situation?
Well, what happened is the guy who was killed, his girlfriend at the time is Dae'on's baby mother.
Okay.
So, in the hood, there's always going to be some static between the two.
Yeah.
But it wasn't to that point.
Okay.
There was nothing to talk about. So
okay.
if Dae'on did have any more issues with him, he never mentioned it.
Okay.
He appeared as if he was moving on, looking for somebody new. But once he gave them his phone to the sheriff so they could ping it, see he was in a different location.
Okay.
Gave him, everything we made. We came in there and talked to them and verified where he was at. And we came to the point to where we discovered that by going through our phones and trying to get to a specific time based on what the police told us on where Dae'on was at, just in case his phone pinging or us being an alibi wasn't enough for them. And we found that the store, he went into the store at the same time that the crime supposedly happened.
Okay.
And he's caught on camera, it's time stamped.
Okay.
You know, it's crystal clear. You see him pull up, get out, go in the store, make a purchase, come out, and come back the direction of home because they had cameras out in the store. So when the police police discovered this first.
Okay.
And then we found out and went and got a copy of for ourselves.
Okay.
So what we found out was that he didn't even need us to verify. He had an alibi.
Video at the store.
Solid tight, yeah.
Okay.
So we like, oh, this is perfect as far as the sheriff letting them know that he ain't got nothing to do with this.
Okay.
So leave it, stop the threats and stuff.
Okay.
So
So did the sheriff ever let the other people know?
no, the sheriff never did. What he did was he went to a select few who had either tweeted, posted, or reshared some real violent threat online. He went to those people specific, and one of them, we have a video of him telling, we're showing a little bit of him confessing that the police came to him and told him, "Yo, take that down because the family wants to press charges for cyberbullying."
Okay.
And this is not the behavior a police supposed to have. He's supposed to do his job.
Yeah.
Because if it was us doing it, more than likely he just came and arrested us.
Yeah.
But because it's people that I guess he's in circles with, the police are in circles with, then they gave them the benefit of the doubt.
What's my opinion? He's like, there's ways you can go about it rather than doing it like that. He said, bro, the cost down, they went to my phone. I won't nowhere near that. I want one. I said, all right, bro. He said, look, I ain't mad at you, bro. Just take that shit down.
Who's talking about that shit?
Dae'on asked me nicely to take it.
Fuck that, nigga.
What?
I shouldn't have said shit about him. Nigga, you one of them niggas for the reasons.
Get away from the TV, bro.
Bro, yeah, you is.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you is.
Hell, bro.
Cause you up there talking shit. Only reason I ain't gonna do it cause I don't want you to police me. Get your head and get the fuck out.
Okay. So how long before, or how much earlier was this incident? And I'll speak on that incident as well, because actually I talked with a mother of another son who was killed right around that same time, right in the same manner that the young man was killed. And she indicated that no, it wasn't Dae'on that killed the other guy, because all of them were kind of rolling in the same circles. But the mother said that there was her son was killed in the same manner in Greenville. I think the young guy here was killed at a store or something like that while sitting in the car.
Yeah.
And then so one of their friends that killed both of them was arrested for another murder. He killed another one of their friends.
Wow.
And he wouldn't talk. It's a whole lot to those deaths. But that let me know that, okay, well, it's like, well, the mother of the other kid was like, nah, it's, you know, it probably happened, you know, that's probably the same guy that did all of the killings. It's the same one they got arrested for that.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, so that went on for a while, and then how much earlier was the investigation with police until, you know, Dae'on's death?
All right. So the young man was shot December 29th.
Okay.
At around 8 p.m. Okay, so between that and January 5th, January 5th is when Dae'on was shot.
January 5th?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's about 6 to 7 days.
Okay.
Yeah, in between that time. So January 8th is when, we said January 9th. January 8th is when they pulled
the plug.
The hospital pulled
Okay.
the plug.
All right, so that's why it says January 9th.
Yes.
But the incident happened on January 5th, almost 6 days after.
Yeah, so we had 6 days of cooperating with the sheriff, and for the sheriff to do their job, which they were not doing. They were not doing their job, and that is what took things to a new level, you know, as far as funny activity in the neighborhood and threats. Now, unfortunately, Dae'on befriended a young lady who, during this time, she had stayed. I think she stayed 1, possibly 2 nights. She had stayed with him.
Okay.
And we didn't really give her any thought.
Uh-huh.
Now this female, if I can show the picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, this female, like in this, if you can see in this picture here, she's holding a gun.
Yeah.
Right, you can see it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, she didn't look like that when we met her. For those 1 or 2 days, she didn't look like that.
How did she look?
She looked more younger, more innocent.
Okay.
She didn't look like this type of mindset.
Okay.
So later on, not to jump ahead and then come back, she had, we found out some information about her that she was associated with the kid that got shot.
Okay.
And she was a gang member.
Yeah.
And then her name was dropped in other crimes, a similar situation where people died. So the night that the events went down, the whole reason suicide went out there is because she put it out there.
Yeah.
She remember we half asleep. We in the bed. We get startled from somebody trying to get in the room, and it's her.
Okay. So it wasn't like because the way, I guess, the I don't know whether the police or whatever, the way they made it seem like he quote unquote shot himself, and she just started yelling out, "Oh, this MF shot himself," and then that's what alerted y'all to come in.
Yeah. And
But
we got sucked into that belief too.
But it wasn't that y'all didn't hear any shots or anything, or did y'all hear?
No, we heard the shot.
Okay.
We heard the shot. It took us a second to jump up. What was that? And then we went running. And before we can get out the bed, before we can get out the bed, we hear her scream that statement.
Okay.
And we come running, and mama dropped, and if anybody, God forbid, anybody's in a traumatic situation like that, but if they have been, then they understand that time moves differently.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
time is moving differently. I don't know if 5 minutes went by, a minute went by. I just know that I was on the phone with police. And I was repeating what she said.
Okay.
I didn't do no investigation. I didn't check out the scene. The mama was doing that.
Oh, she was.
Yeah, and I was on the phone with the police. Get here now.
Okay.
They wanted more information. We ain't got time for that. Get the ambulance.
Yeah.
In. So, by the time, next thing I know, the ambulance do come, but the police come first. From the local cop came on the scene, sheriff, or Goldsboro police. 2 of them was on the scene. Okay. Now, you already know we watch TV, so we know what it looks like. They come in, they put on the gloves, they watch where they walk. They don't want to. It's a crime scene.
Yeah.
Right, but the movement didn't go down like that. At the time, because Minnie was doing some work, and he had a couple $100 in his bag, like a pouch bag.
Okay.
And it vanished.
Okay.
And we couldn't really put it nowhere. We couldn't put it on her. We couldn't put it on the police in there. We just knew that by the time, we got to look around, it was gone.
Okay.
But because people do take advantage of crazy situations like that.
Yeah.
So they didn't do no NCIS. They didn't. What's the check called? When they check your hand, gun. Yeah, they didn't do that check on her.
Okay.
When it was.
Did they do one on him? Well, I mean, if
I'm not even positive. I can't even say. I'm not even positive. They should have.
Yeah.
Part of the investigation to confirm, to reach a conclusion, but they we know for sure they didn't do it to her. The response they gave when we had questioned them about it was that of course she's going to have some on her. She was in the room.
Okay, yeah.
But it wasn't about whether she's going. Just like when we talked to the private investigator, it's not about whether she's going to have some on her. If one cop is talking to another, they don't need to have that conversation. Yeah. What we need to determine is how strong was it, and where was it strongest. Yeah. So she had a little here, but she had a lot right here. Yeah. That would, but they didn't do none of these things. So it's almost as if she sat down and she wrote up the police report. Investigation.
Did they take her down when they came?
They didn't do nothing.
So how long did they stay in the house or in the room when? Doing their investigation before I guess they called.
Honestly, I'm not even sure because 5 minutes after they got there, the ambulance got there, and we was going with the ambulance.
Oh, so they took the body out?
Yeah.
Oh,
and put him
because
in
right,
the
because he was still living.
Yeah.
Okay, so they wasn't going to. It wasn't like he was already there, so
No.
they can just let him sit there and investigate.
Yeah, he
the
was
scene.
still alive. He was
Okay.
still alive.
Okay.
Then they took him to, the hospital out here, and from there they said the only chance he's got is at the hospital in Greenville.
Okay.
So they did they brought him out there, and what we did is before we went there, we stopped back here before we jumped on the highway, and when we stopped back, that's when we noticed the door was closed, and
you stopped back
at the
to
house. Yeah. So we found out that the police didn't. They already knew her to where they would. Don't worry, we're gonna call her, which means you know who she is, you know her number, you know how to get. You already know who this person is. So from the stuff we found out, that means you were already aware that this was a funny style girl, not to be trusted, and we should investigate. You should have known that, but they came back, and the end result on that was that she has there's nothing really she can contribute to this other than being a witness to a suicide. So for them, the case was closed, and
that was like so at the when did they rule that? Like I don't know, like that, like the same day or next week, or or when did y'all start having suspicions of the whole situation? Because I know in that moment it's different. You just look at what you see and you look at what you hear. So when did y'all actually start having suspicions about? Wait a minute, it just don't seem right.
Well, yeah, one of the guys, William, I think it's William and Alex, they were the ones who started the rumors online. And when we saw some pictures of them and some other people they was with, they all had guns, and they just came off. They didn't come off like they was proud gun owners. They came off like they was killers.
Okay.
Right. And then in the midst of all their photos and profiles and everything, here she pop up.
Okay.
Then we find out that she is friends with the deceased, to the point to where she posted, RIPs type stuff to him.
Okay.
So it's like, so at the time that, this is what it means. What it means is at the time that the young man was killed, she came to the house of the person she knew was currently being accused in her circle.
Okay.
So I'm hanging with my family. A crime happens. Everybody's telling me, yo, Tiffany did it. Tiffany did it.
Yeah.
Word? Man, where you going? I'm finna go stay at Tiffany house for 2 nights.
Yeah.
No, a hitter moves like that.
Yeah.
Oh, he don't know I'm in your circle. I'm finna go over there, and since we think he's the one that did it, da-da-da-da-da. That was one of the main theories that was coming forth out of us.
Okay.
Another theory that came forth was that, I can't really get into other parties, but other parties were involved, and it's possible that the crime was committed outside of the home. She would have already known that we was in the room in the bed. We don't get up and come out at night. Once we go to bed, we're in bed. We'll see you in the morning. Okay. So that means that they would be able to bring him in and then just let off a shot and say, oh my God, oh my God.
Yeah.
But the crime could have been committed somewhere else by somebody else, and they just brought his body in. And it turns out later, as we tune into your channel and you talk about different things, we find that these circles, even though they got one indicted or whatever, there's more. Birds of a feather flock together. So we find out that some of those people are involved in this situation. So everything smells funny. Nothing is to be trusted. When we got this investigator, she's about her business.
So y'all after after this time, then considering, then y'all hired a private investigator.
Yeah.
And what did those results?
One of the things is she was able to retrieve that the girl admitted that she stole a gun a day or two before it happened. The person she stole the gun from never reported stolen. So she hands it off to Dae'on to show him look what we got.
Mm-hmm.
So he's feeling like, I guess he's feeling a little more relaxed now.
Okay.
Because just in case some idiot does come, at least we can fight back.
Yourself.
Yeah, we can fight back. So, but we didn't. She still wasn't giving up. There was still no spidey sense going off about this girl. It wasn't going off until we seen how she really looked and lived and who she's with. I'm like, whoa, like as if she was an actress when she came in the house. So we didn't trust her at all. The investigator found out all that information for us. She showed us how she was, connected and other parties are connected too. We can't go into too much because the purpose of her was to help us to get justice. The negligence by the police department, by the hospital, because I didn't even get into the hospital.
Yeah. So what happened at the hospital real quick?
But the hospital was basically remember I told you over here, Wayne Hospital, they told us the only hope we got is there.
Mm-hmm.
Immediately they're telling us there's no hope. We're bringing things up for them, like can we try this? Can we try this? Can we try this? Or can we different things? And it was almost demonic the way they were just rejecting everything.
Everything.
Like they went in and went out. I'm not even gonna process what you said. It's over, man. They were more focused on do you want to donate his organs? Do you want to donate his organs?
That's what they kept asking.
Yeah, it kept getting to that.
But then you say they lost the body too then?
Yeah, but before, remember, he's still alive at this time.
So, yeah, that's right.
He's still alive at this time.
All right.
And so what happened is we found out that we had the right to not only get him sent to another location, but to have a new doctor to give us a second opinion. Yeah, yeah. And they weren't, the things that were required for that, they weren't giving it to us.
Okay.
What they did was they did something slick and brought in another doctor from the same office in the same circle to give us the same conclusion, and that's not what a second opinion normally is.
Yeah.
Normally a second opinion is you go to somebody not affiliated for them to render that decision. But they wouldn't let us get that they wouldn't help us with getting a bed to get him sent over there. We was even at the point to where they were talking about flying him, and we were like, listen, I'm willing to pay cash.
Yeah.
Let's get it done. Whatever needs to be done, let's get it done. Yeah. Right now, we're not talking about no money right now. We're talking about you trying to do what you need to do. There was no, you've seen hospital movies and series. Yeah. They come in, you hear sounds, and you see nurses moving. Man, this thing was a ghost town in Israel. So you heard crickets. Now, one person, they put a Band-Aid on him, and that was it. No nothing.
Yeah, no revitalization.
Yeah, we felt like we was in a twilight zone, like, this can't be happening. So, they said that they were going to pull the plug on a Friday. So we said that you got to hold up. You can't do that just yet. These people went ahead and did it anyway.
Without y'all consent.
Without consent. Mama wasn't present because she was protesting it. She did not want it to happen. She was busy trying to find a way to get it stopped legally or something to that effect. And we weren't having no luck. And they pulled it. And then when they pulled it, he was still alive. We found out later that certain healing processes have to take place, right? And certain things have to be done. That's one of the main reasons for life support, to keep them alive while you're doing those things. Okay. So the problem is they had them on life support and they wasn't doing anything.
Okay.
They weren't doing anything. Justice, we started off going to the NAACP for justice.
Okay, yeah.
When I spoke with the lady at the time, Sylvia Barnes, Sylvia Barnes, we told Sylvia Barnes what was happening. She called the sheriff to let them know the circumstances of the bullying, the threats from gang members, this, that, and the other. And if there's something they can do to help us feel safer, more secure, advice, knowledge, anything dealing with this. And by the time she called us back, she was upset at us. She was upset that we didn't let her know that day that we was on the phone call was the day of the boy's funeral. Because the main one was that her concern was that we didn't tell her about the young man's funeral, and what we did was we told her that one, we weren't following what was happening with him. We were concerned with our own problems, our own issues. So, you know, I couldn't tell her today was his funeral because we don't got, I don't know, and I got nothing to do with that. You're ignoring what we're telling you. We're telling you that we got video evidence that he has an alibi, and we need that to be used to try to stop the threats. But she was like,
why would she want to know about the other guy's funeral anyway?
Just sent some of them. I was waiting to get. I was trying to send them all at one time. I was trying to get the different ones sent from everybody because I didn't have them all on my device.
Okay, why you didn't tell me that man's funeral was this afternoon?
Ma'am?
I said, why you didn't tell me that man's funeral was this afternoon?
What man funeral?
The man that was shot and killed.
I don't know when the man funeral was. I don't know what man you're talking about. The guy, the white guy?
Yes.
Yeah, I had no idea about that. I didn't know when his funeral was.
It was this afternoon.
Yeah, I didn't know about that. I had no idea about that funeral. I was worried about my own son.
Well, see, when we do work, we have to know the whole story.
Yes, ma'am, but I don't have no connections with his family. I don't know the other guy.
You don't have to have connections. You should have told me that the man that was in the altercation with your son had gotten shot and he was killed.
That was before. This is why my son was shot, because they thought it was my son. This is how it all started. I don't know that guy's family. This is all new to me.
You don't have to know the family, honey. You have to listen at what I'm telling you.
okay, ma'am, how you doing?
I'm doing fine.
All right. One of the issues we have, which involves the police, is that when I spoke to the sheriff,
the sheriff said that he had not spoken to anyone. I just finished talking to him.
Okay. Well, we spoke to Officer Teal, but we also did speak to the sheriff, and so did Dae'on, when we went to see the sheriff and let him interview Dae'on. We told him we told him Dae'on's alibi at the time that the crime happened. We told him where to check. We told him he was home with the baby.
Okay, listen to what I'm going to say.
He went to the store.
Listen to what I'm going to say. I'm not going to hear no more of this tonight. I'm waiting for the investigator to call me back.
Okay.
And when I talk with her, then I will have a better understanding, because nobody told me that man died. You all did not mention that.
We don't know nothing about that man. So we didn't keep up.
You don't have to know anything about it. If you know that he thought that someone was killed, you don't have to know his name. You don't have to know nothing. But anyway, I'm waiting for the investigator to call me. I just finished talking with the sheriff. I'm waiting for the police officer in Fremont to call me too.
Okay. A woman was killed today too. We don't know nothing about her either.
Well, I don't either, and I don't want to know nothing about her. So I will get back with you when I have the reports that I need, and will let you know if the NAACP is going to pursue this further. Okay. You all have a good night.
Wow.
That was one of the things that was pissing us off with our conversation with her. Yeah, it was frustrating because she kept talking about him, and I don't really recall any real questions about our situation. You know, it was the white boy.
Yeah.
Once she heard it was a white boy that died, oh, I'm not getting involved.
Okay, that's
I'm
how
not
you
getting
feel.
involved. You
Okay.
some black guy, you being accused of this? Man, who cares what he's being accused of? We're telling you we got evidence he's not. So they're off. So we need you to help us go the right direction, because once the police do the investigation, they're gonna find this out. And the part was pissing us off is they had already found this part out, but they weren't doing anything with it. So we wanted her to try to force them or something to make it to where we can go home.
Yeah.
You know, we got baby. I got 7 grandbabies. We got babies. We don't want no drama with nobody. We don't even know none of these people. We're not in those circles.
Yeah.
You know, Dae'on wasn't in those circles. He went to school, knew one person, this person. But when Dae'on went and hung out, and I seen his friends daily and on the routine, and he would go out once in a while and he would have video and he would talk about what he did and this, that, and the other. He wasn't in those circles. So whatever the parents of that child thought was this type of kid, he was not that type of kid.
Mm-hmm.
He was not that type of kid. He was the type of kid where you honestly you didn't really have to worry about anything with him. He wasn't a troublemaker. So, you know, it was like you wish that people knew, you know, like the mom shares pictures of his smile. He was a handsome young man, you know, he was learning to be smooth. He was coming into his own. He wasn't, I'm from Harlem, so I've seen little gangsters running through. He wasn't one of them type of kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He was no threat to nobody. And the fact that this kid was Caucasian, was white, it's like all the attention was going over there. You know, and it's like, even right here, you got 2 lights. Yeah, go ahead, shine your light over there.
Mm.
But we need some light over here too, and nobody seemed to care.
Because they just automatically assumed that.
When we got to Greenville, right? We one of the cars we drive is a Range Rover. When we pulled in to the hospital parking lot, remember he's on life support upstairs.
Okay.
We run in, and we're about to hop out the car. Next thing I know, we're surrounded by police at the hospital. We're surrounded by police. First thing they want to know is how the hell y'all able to afford this truck?
That's what they asked?
Yeah. Now, ma'am, I'm so sorry to hear that your son has just been rushed upstairs on life support. How'd you get this truck?
Now, what police? Greenville police? Goldenville police?
No, they followed us.
Okay.
They was from here. They followed us out there. And then they basically grabbed up, because Dae'on has a brother, Daquan. They grabbed him up and wanted to drag him in for questioning.
Mm-hmm.
Now, guess why the police is there? Because of the white boy. They're there for the white boy. It's trying to solve the white boy's murder. You know where we coming from. You know where we're going. You know what just happened to us. Mm-hmm. And you're going to interrupt that so that you can question, because what they tried to do is they tried to make, once they realized they couldn't put it on Dae'on, they tried to say it was the brother.
Okay.
Fortunately, the brother got cameras, he's at work, he's got a clock, he's got supervisors, he's got workers, he's got a whole crew of people to testify that during this time that this crime happened, he was at work.
Wow.
Then he harassed the daughter, who was also at work, because she had a black car, which was what the claim was, that it was a black car, person in the black car had originally committed the murder. Now, I hear different things on the streets as far as they done already solved that case.
Yeah.
And still no word of clearing Dae'on's name. Still no word on it. You know, and it's horrible, because I don't even know if it was I don't know, I guess it was ingrained in us that, you know, when black people need help, there should be places we can go to, and NAACP has been put there for us.
Yeah.
And the fact that we couldn't get help from there, we couldn't trust the police here. It was sad, man. It was sad. And it's like, justice comes at a price. That's the truth. Justice comes at a price. If you are poor or don't have certain means, you're not going to be able to really get nothing done. Even when you see those voluntary lawyers come, it's because they're interested in the lawsuit.
Yeah.
It's not a genuine care. You know what I'm saying? You want people to get involved. Like when you did the show before, a lady lawyer, you had said that a lady lawyer heard the story. And she wanted to naturally get involved. And that's the type of thing we need. So we started a GoFundMe. It's justicefordaeon.com. So if anybody wants to, donate and help us to pay off, because we got to pay off another part of the investigation report. But all the things that we're getting together, getting the case reopened, and investigated. So I know a lot of people probably nervous about that. You know, I don't care if you did something dirty, your dirt need to come out. You know?
Definitely.
Yeah, it need to come out. So once they pulled the plug, now we're going through emotions and trauma, and we already know we got to deal with the funeral home and making arrangements. So finally, we get a funeral home. We start setting everything up. The lady's like, okay, I need you to sign a paper to get the body. They lost the body. About 2.5 days, they lost the body. After the end of the end of the half of the after 2 days, did the call come and we able to get it? All right, it's en route. And we like, and the whole time she was calling like, what do you mean? Talking to different people. Like, how you lose a body?
Yeah.
So that was traumatic. There was so many stages of trauma, and believe it or not, a lot of it is based off of cyberbullying, and the cyberbullying is taking place based off misinformation, which the police have corrective information, and all they have to do is, present it, and not even you don't have to. They didn't even have to present it, because she didn't even request them to present it to the world. She requested them to present it to the family, because the family obviously is talking with the kids who hang out with their son.
Exactly.
So they're all hurting. So you let them know, because the family was saying all types of negative, straight to hell posts and statements.
Okay, like they
wishing
was happy
evil on
he
the
was,
daughter.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Like, and we like, yo, yes, I understand the pain. We going through it too, but our pain is not affiliated.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we didn't respond with no craziness, because I felt bad for what happened to you. You lost your son.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, that ain't got nothing to do. Well, fortunately, that ain't got nothing to do with us.
Yeah.
Now you're causing us to have a trauma. And
so
a lot of parties involved, man. They financially, their lives went up. Different things happen that we're aware of. It's in the investigation, and the point I was bringing out with the investigator is just with her talking with her cops and putting all the work in. There was no possible way for the police to end this case off as a suicide. There was no way for them to be able to do that. They should have to write, what was it, inconclusive.
Yeah, this is the report. Well, this is the last page of the report. Let me pull that up. Excuse me. Make sure I got it here. So the last page of the report, it says, based solely on client submitted materials reviewed in this case, when considering the totality of circumstances, Dr. Laura Petler finds that the death of the decedent or decedent should have, at the very bare minimum, been ruled manner of death undetermined by law enforcement and medical personnel in the jurisdiction of where the decedent became injured and where he subsequently was treated and died. Dr. Petler disagrees with the ruling manner of death suicide, based solely on the body as evidence and Miss Williams' statement that the decedent shot himself in front of her.
Mm-hmm.
And Miss Williams is the lady that you was talking about who came to stay the night.
Yeah, I think she was around the same age, and I don't know if she was even aware that he was left-handed.
Mm-hmm. But the gun was found in his right hand.
In his right hand, yeah. And even when we looked it up, over 90% of the people who do something like this, they use the hand that their dominant hand. They don't.
And so they said that they want to amend it, and she said that a full centered death investigation should be conducted. Shooting incident reconstruction, recreation, or reenactment, background investigation and field interviews, statement analysis, and forensic testing. That's her findings of what should be done. Now, if you present this to, I guess, the sheriff or the police, do they have an obligation to reopen this investigation?
Yeah, but that's why it's not. You don't limit yourself to them.
Okay.
Because,
you take it somewhere else.
You need to go to somebody who can also force them to.
Okay.
Because they have to admit
exactly that we messed up.
We
so
messed
it's hard for them to take that and do it.
because
So
they're
you
looking
might
at
have
it
to
monetary. We looking at it for some spiritual justice.
Yeah.
You know.
So you might have to have like State Bureau of Investigation or send it to federal. And since they are already under a microscope, then you know that we're like, here's something else you should look at.
Yeah. And I'm hoping, we really praying that that goes through. One of the things I want to touch on too, real quick, was the gun. Right? We don't even know if that's the murder weapon or if that's the so-called suicide weapon, because the gun was never even tested. Bullet was never recovered. Like I said, the room was never.
So they never recovered a bullet from.
People didn't do anything. They didn't do anything.
And what was it, like a revolver or automatic?
No, it was a automatic.
So did shell casing? Anything they find the shell casing?
Nothing. Found nothing. All we know is we had to leave. And when we came back, if there was something, it was taken. One thing we know for sure was taken was the money he just made from working, cutting trees and stuff like that. So whether there was a cleanup, we don't really know. All we know is that for the time we were there and they came in, they weren't acting and moving the way they should. And something my wife had wrote down for me was that the original detective who did come in wearing the camera video, the body cam, he was suddenly removed from the case, and no explanation was given. But the mama's staying strong, man. She's his mama's staying strong.
I know.
She hasn't. I had my little rocky moments of doubt as far as if we gonna be able to get anything done.
Yeah.
But she kept that faith. Yeah. And now we start to see all the pieces.
I hadn't heard from y'all in a minute. Then you reached out to me. I was like, okay, this is what they've been doing.
Yeah, prayers get answered, man. Yeah. Sometimes even when you pray, man, sometimes it's not always specifics that he'll give you, but he'll bring you closer to where it is. So he brought different people in our lives that are chipping in to make it what we need, so we can get some type of justice or something. Because he deserved that. He had a whole life ahead of him, and now we, every time, and this is something you can't forget, especially when they got children. Every time his daughter, he got a beautiful daughter. Every time she's in our face,
she's like 3 or 4 now, right?
Yeah. We see him, and we tell her stories about her dad, show her pictures to make sure that even though he's not there, he's there. He's there. I'm glad we was able to get a little bit of videos and a lot of photos.
Yeah.
Because I know people who didn't have none of that.
Yeah.
So it was hard to pass their memory on. But but we made the GoFundMe to help his daughter and help us pay off these coming expenses with the lawyer so we can get justice. So
And that's justice for Dae'on at
justicefordaeon.com.
.com.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna
it'll take you to the GoFundMe.
Okay.
It'll take you to it.
Yeah, man. So, is there anything else you want to share with the public concerning this issue, or what you guys have been up against?
I don't know, man. It's like if you're going through something, keep the faith. Get in contact with a dude like this, brother like this, who can try to help you make some waves to get some justice. And you just gotta stay strong. You gotta live for them. Keep their memory alive. Think about them often. Somebody you lost, that keeps them still there with you. I lost my father. I was just looking at his graveyard photo, and it's like all the memories are still crystal clear because I keep them alive in my mind. So it's like, it makes it easier to deal with the loss of somebody. Some people put things away and they don't even want to see nothing that's going to remind them of it. No, they don't want to be forgotten. Nobody want to be forgotten. So, if you're going through something, man, just stay strong and keep playing, man. And we appreciate you, man, helping us get the word out. If anybody knows any information that we don't know, they can drop us a note.
So call me 919-587 7782, and I get the information to my brother and my sister concerning if you do want to help, if you have some avenues that they should consider, if you are versed in things like this. Feel free to reach out, give us advice, tell us the next step to do. 919-587-7782. But I thank y'all too, man, for just staying vigilant. Like I said, I know it's not easy, continually to, it's almost like just ripping the scab off a wound. You know what I'm saying? It's healing, we healing, but it's still hurting. You know what I'm saying? So in order for it to heal right, we still want to, to figure out, what has happened wrong.
Yeah.
So, I commend y'all for that. And like I said, thank y'all for tuning in. If y'all want more information on this, once again, 919-587-7782. Justice for Dae'on.com. Hopefully we can put all this up on the screen. But I thank y'all for tuning in. God bless y'all. Once again, blessings and peace, my brother.
All right, thanks again, man.
All right, thank you.